afternoon, welcome to my channel. My name is Cynthia. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this trending sleeve. Okay, it's trending. This was inspired by VeeKee James. Okay, so I'll be using just one yard of fabric, 1 yard of satin fabric for making this sleeve. All right, actually made it for a client, but I want to repeat it and show you how to make it. So I'll just make just only for one hand. Alright, so and then if today is your first time of coming to my channel, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and also subscribe if you've not subscribed. Alright, so I'll take you to the cutting table where we'll start cutting. Okay, so for what I am wearing, I just finished making this. If you want me to also teach you how to make what I'm just wearing, is an office wear. I work with the local government, so I'll be rocking this to my office. I just made it. So if you want to see how I made it, you can just put your comment on the comment section. Tell me you want me to make it. So I'll show you how to make it. Alright, without much ado, let's go to the cutting table. Okay, so these are the instruments I'll be using to work. I have my boning. You should have a boning. Okay, because the boning, you need it to give it structure. Alright. This is a pattern paper. I have my satin fabric. I have my stay. You can use a hard stay. You can go for a normal stay. Okay, so now we are going to start cutting. I'll just lay all that aside. Now we are going to draft a basic sleeve. Okay, so before you start, you should have a basic sleeve. So I have my basic sleeve. Okay, you should have a basic sleeve before you start. Okay, so this is a basic sleeve. If you don't know how to cut a basic sleeve, I have a video on how to cut it. I'm going to put the description below. Just go and watch it. Okay, so I'm going to grab myself a fresh neat pattern paper. I'll fold into 2. Fold it into 2, and then please, this is the folded part. You can see this is the folded part. Fold into 2, and then we're going to place our new pattern paper. Okay, so before I place my pattern paper, I'm going to measure how wide I want my the structure to be. Okay, so from here I'm going to take like around this place. Okay, let me keep it this way. This is the folded part. I'm going to bring in 6 inches. Okay, so and then the length at which I want it, I'm not using everything, so I'll just come down a little here. Okay, let's say we are using a length of 14 inches. Okay, this is a basic sleeve, but I'll be using 14 inches out of it. So now from this area, you can take 5 inch, you can take 6 inches. So I'm using 6 inches. I'll be adding 6 inches to it. So I'm going to draft out this particular sleeve I have here. I'll draft it out as I'm trying to trace it out. Okay, now I have traced it out. I'm going to keep my sleeve aside, and then I'm going to come here at the beginning of this place. So I am going to like extend it. Remember, it was 6 inches I added. Okay, so I'm going to like extend it to allow it enter into the into the armhole. Okay, so it was from here I added. If you remember, I added 6 inches. So now once we do that, if you have a curve like this, it will be very, very better. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is this. I'll come to this place. I'll come up. It all depends on how much of the fabric you want around this area. Let's say I want 8 inches. Okay, both my seam allowance and everything. So from here, from this 8 inches, I'm going to connect it to that point. Hope you understand what I did. From this 8 inches, I'll connect to that point. So I'll be using my ruler. Okay, I'll be using this ruler will help give us a very nice shape. If you don't want to use the ruler, you can decide to just curve into what, to this place. So let's see. Let's use it. Okay, so this is it. If you still want to curve in, you can still come up. All right, so let's come up a little and curve in, trying to give us more nice shape. Okay, so this is it. All right, so I'm going to cut it out, and then I'll cut it on the fabric, and then you see how it is. You saw where I came down from this particular side. You saw how I came down. You can decide to come from this side, okay? So I have to come from here so that you understand it better. So I'm going to pause. So I'm going to, this is it here. This is how it's looking. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to trace this on my satin fabric. I'll be needing just two of it. One will be acting as a fabric, while the other one will be acting as the what? As the lining. So I'll get a fresh new satin and then cut. So I have cut it, all right. So this is it. I've been able to cut it. So I have two, okay, I have two. So like I said, one will be acting as my lining, and while the other one will be acting as my what? The main fabric. Now it's time to start fixing it. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure they are equal, to make sure the two of them are equal, so that you don't run into problem. Okay. Okay, so now they are equal. I'm going to cut out my stay, all right? At this point, you can decide to use your hard stay. And what I actually used for the one I showed you, the client I made for, was a hard stay. And I would like to also use a normal light stay, not just too light stay, not the lightest stay, but a light stay. So I'm using a light stay for this. So I'm going to cut out my stay. So I've cut out my stay. Okay. So what will happen is this is how I actually like putting my stay. I like putting it on the lining. Okay. If you want a very neat job, make sure you put all your stay on your lining. All right. If you put your stay on your main fabric, you won't like the outcome. So I'm just giving you a tip. All right. So if each time you work with a stay, you discover that it's looking rough after you are through with making for a client, you should try and start putting it on on your lining. So this will be the original one, the main fabric, and while this will be the lining, which I already cut out with my stay. So I'll just go and give it a hot press, and then we'll come back. Like I said, the one I made for my client, I used a strong stay, but for this one, I'll be using a light stay, so that I will see the difference between this and that. All right. So sometimes you just try out things. Okay. So I'm going to go and iron them, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what next to do. So once I do this, I'll be needing my boning, okay? You can either use a boning or a crinoline. I want to give it a very, very hard structure, so I'll be using a boning. So I'll just go to my machine. Make sure you give like 1 inch for allowance around this area. So I'll go to my, sorry, I'm having my boning in piece. I actually forgot my boning at the workshop. I'm making this tutorial in the house. I forgot it at the workshop, so I saw this one in my studio, so I had to use it that way. All right, so from here I'm going to give 1 inch for my sewing, and then I'll place it somewhere around here. Okay, and then I'll keep going until I get to the end of this place. I also give 1 inch here, so I'll go and sew it, and then once all right, so as you can see, I had to use a black thread so that you see it very well. Now I gave 1 inch around here. You can see I gave 1 inch for my allowance on this particular area, and so I had to sew it on top of this place. You see where I sewed? I did not give any allowance here. This is how you put your boning. So now I'm getting the lining. So this is the main fabric. This is our main fabric, okay? So this is our main fabric. I'm going to grab it, place it here, and sew it not on top. I'll sew it around here. Around here. It is not going to touch the boning. Make sure yours is not touching. Also, hope you can see. So I'm going to sew it somewhere around here, not here. So I'm sewing it somewhere around this place. So I'll place it here. I'll place my lining, and then I'll sew it somewhere around here. Make sure it's not touching the boning. So let me go join. We'll come back and show you. All right, so as you can see, my threads are not touching. Sorry. As you can see that the threads are not in any way touching the boning. Hope you can see. They're not touching the boning. You see how I sewed it. All right, now I am going to just leave a particular space. I'll leave a space here to turn my work out. So I'm going to turn it out. So on this particular area, you're going to be very, very careful while turning out, and also you're going to be very patient while turning up your work because of the boning and the stay. So that's why I suggest you use a lighter stay. Sorry, light stay, not lightest, but a light one instead of that hard gum stay. I used the hard one. It was very difficult to bring out. I'll show you how that one came out, and also show you how this one is. So once I bring it out, once I'm through turning up my work, I'll just go and give it a very hot press. Give it a very hot press, and then I'll come back and then show you the finished look. Alright, so this is it. Okay, I've went ahead to iron it, but you discover that this place is just coming up somehow. So I'm going to top stitch on here. I'll show you how to do the top stitching, and that's why I'll be using a black thread so that you will see how I'm going to top stitch. Alright, so once I'm through with okay, let's go and top stitch. I'll come back to show you the next thing to do. I'll top stitch around here. I'll show you how to do it. You can see it's coming up, it's just raising up around here. Let's top stitch so that it will go flat. With the thread line, I will show you how to do it. So as you can see, I have to top stitch on top of just a little on top of the boning, just a little. All right, so with this now, the boning is not going anywhere. It's going to relax very well with both the fabric and the main fabric and the lining. So you should top stitch. All right, but please use a matching thread. The reason why I'm doing this is because I wanted you to understand it better, and so that you see how my thread lines, I ran my thread lines. So now once you are through with this, the next thing you need to do is to get the center. Okay, so we are going to get the center of our sleeve. So So we are getting the center. So you are going to fold into 2 to get your center. So this is my center. This is the center. I'm not going to notch. I'll just use a chalk, okay? So from there, I'm going to start pleating. Then you should pleat how much. I don't know how much of the pleat you want. So I'm going to pleat 1, 2. I'll pleat 3, and I'll pleat 4, depending on the armhole you are working with. All right. If you are pleating, please check your armhole. Depending on the armhole, let's assume I'm working with armhole of 18 inches. So I will be leaving 9 inches plus 1 inch for seam allowance on this part, and then this part I also leave 9 inch plus 1 seam allowance. So I have 10 inch here and 10 inch the other place. So we're going to pleat 1, 2, and I'll pleat 1, 2. You can see 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go and stitch it up. Okay, so this is the finished look of the sleeve. Like I said, please do not mind the black thread. I only used it for illustration. Okay, so this is it. You can see how it's looking. It's looking beautiful. Okay. Alright, if this tutorial was very helpful, please don't forget to like, don't forget to share with your soulmates, and if you are new here, you've not subscribed, please subscribe so that YouTube can also recommend our videos to other YouTubers who are yet to know about us. Alright, and again, please hit the red button below so you always get notified whenever we upload a video. I'll see you again in my next class. My name is Cynthia.